solar photovoltaic training devices. And so based on this, in this regard, we only have one prayer on it. Approve the mass production of the solar photovoltaic training devices. And let me continue again. This same institute came up because there were some of the people that were sent to China to learn all this thing. And just like I mentioned, once you have gone for any training, there's a time bound. So that's why when you get to our organization, everybody is hardworking, is working, and because you must deliver on your projects. It's not that there's no laxity. Now, they came up with another one, memorandum on hybrid power automated egg hatchery incubator. So they came up with this thing, and also they just want to inform council that there's a need for mass production of this incubator, because everybody eats egg virtually every day. But it's something that you can do on your own. And so based on this regard, they have just two prayer in this area. But let them also say the chance of encountering related problems such as voltage fluctuation, such as and completed power failure are significantly reduced. So this is called power, or it's automatic. So we now have two prayer points. Councils hereby pray to NOSOC approve egg hatchery incubator technology in the state. Kogi State, they just want it in Kogi State. And then the mass production of this egg power automated hatchery incubator. Okay, so that is one of our agency, one of our institutes in Okene. Now we have another institute in Elisha. We have another institute in Elisha. And so what this institute is talking about, they have come to design a new vehicle diagnostic tools. Most of the tools that we have, we normally import. We import those tools. But this institute have come up with a new way. If you want to diagnose a vehicle, most of the time people have vehicle problem, and then, can you tell us what the problem is? We have problem with it. And most of the time, it's just how they try and error that how this mechanic are doing. If you notice that, you take your vehicle to a place, they just do try and order for you. But this institute have come up with a design. And that design, the objective, basically, so the vehicle is locally made. It's not very, and it's affordable, user-friendly diagnostic tools to empower mechanic, by simplifying the complexity. Sometimes most of all these vehicles that we have now, you discover you take it to some mechanic. They cannot diagnose that this is what is wrong. They just taking your money. But one of the objectives of this newly designed tools is to empower the mechanic and also to promote efficiency in troubleshooting, because troubleshooting is what people have problem with. If you don't troubleshoot the right thing, you keep spending money. To enhance local content development in vehicle diagnostic and to reduce dependency on foreign tools. If you go into some places now, let me check, let me have this thing. All those things are basically imported. And this one will also help us to reduce heavy dependence on foreign use of some of all these items. Okay? So based on that, in this regard, I just have 3 prayers. Council is prayed to note to approve the necessity of supporting local mechanic with tools tailored to their skill level to improve vehicle repair and maintenance in Nigeria. Approve new government and private sector collaboration to ensure the mass production of these tools for nationwide use. There's no, even down to some villages, we have mechanics. And these tools will actually enhance Nigeria in the area of repair of vehicle. And the last prayer in that regard, to know the support, the needed support to be made available for this institute. The institute is prototype Engineering Development Institute, Ilesha, for the research and development of these diagnostic tools. Okay, so I will continue. Okay, okay, after this, okay, yeah, we'll ask questions. Okay. There's one of our institutes that is in Jalingo. We call it Advanced Manufacturing Technology Development Institute. What they have done basically is that they have the memorandum is on partnership for the production, sales, and deployment of agricultural multi-grade threshers in northeast part of the country and the country at large. So this institute they have developed this thing and is working very fine. And because most of all these grain are basically from the north, maybe millet, how do you call it? Corn, and quite a lot of other things. Stubborn, thank you very much. So, but then, people have problem in, I remember when I was young, my mommy would give us corn from the market and be using hand to be removing these things. But that, with our technology have gone higher. They have even developed something very small, so that even at your home, you can easily do it. You buy corn, you can just load it into this system. And so what these people are looking for, what this institute is looking for, it just need collaboration to all the northeast part of this country. So based on that, in that regard, they only have just two prayers. Just two prayers. Okay? Council is hereby pray to approve collaboration between Advanced Manufacturing Technology Institute, Jalingo, and Northern East State Government, and any other interested stakeholder to purchase. Is not very, very expensive because they are all locally. If you say you are purchasing something foreign, because don't forget, we are looking at less dependence on foreign machines. And to deploy multi-grain thresher to improve agricultural efficiency. And the second prayer is the support of sales. You just need the support of sales to any interested group, interested states. It may not be only people from northeast, but northwest they can have interest. North central they can have interest. Even any part of this country, if you have interest in this, no problem. So let me just stop and take questions.
Thank you so much, Aristotle. From Messini. I mean, was it Pythagoras? No,
Pythagoras was a mathematician.
So thanks so much. Please, any question, comments, observations, and remarks? Thank you.
Good afternoon. Please, I'm from Osun State. My name is Bola Onariwaju from the Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology, Osun State. Yes, my question is on that of the transformer trainer systems. So you mentioned that this training is meant for tertiary institutions and secondary schools. Now that you're having the body at Okene, the body is in Okene, that is Power Equipment and Electrical Machinery Institute in Okene. And the body, another body of NASRDA that we have in Osun State is PEDI, Prototype Engineering Development Institute.
Yeah.
So please, if you want to collaborate with your agency in this regard, can we do that through PEDI? That
yes.
We want our secondary school students to learn the transformer training systems. can we collaborate with PEDI
Yeah, what you
so
just
that
need
they
to
can
do
get in
is-
touch with people in Okene?
Thank you very much. All you just need to do is to cover.
Also, what is the cost implication?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me just quickly answer. Okay. Okay, I will note down the question. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you again, ma'am, for the opportunity granted. Permit me to stand on the existing protocol. The presenter has touched on various products, innovative products and services which they produce. And my intervention is going to be in line with the earlier submission made by our distinguished DG Odusoya. Talking about, yes, you've talked about the products we made, but the key thing that will drive mass production, partnership and collaboration, you are leaving them out, sir. And it becomes difficult, for example, if you cannot convince me as an investor on why I have to invest in your product, then it will not go places. Many of the products you may mention are already in the market. Go to the market, you see many of them are already made. We have Chinese products related to this. But you are coming up with a locally made version of it. You have to tell us why the edge it has over the existing one in the market, so that it will convince the end users on why they need to buy your product over the existing ones. You need to highlight all of this, because I remember that generally in all of your prayers, you are talking about mass production, partnership, collaboration. But the key thing that will drive these prayers are missing out. So please, in your subsequent presentations, I think it's an area that you really have to work on, not just to gloss over this. It's not just about starting product. We have many of those products in place. But what are the key things making your products unique over the existing ones? Very, very key and vital. Thank you very much, sir.
Hello. My name is Dr. Gideon Bakari, representing the Permanent Secretary, Ondo State. To the presenter, in one of the memo you presented, you made us realize that your organization manufactures science equipment and laboratory equipment for primary, secondary schools. The question I want to ask, because when you look critically, you discover that some of these assignments is really what we need in the schools. But the question I want to ask you is that who are the people teaching these primary schools and secondary schools after you must have delivered these laboratory equipment to them? Because I realize that one of the major mandates of Nigerian Institute of Science, Laboratory Technology is this area. And the representative of the Director General was here yesterday to present paper. I want to find out if there's any collaboration between your organization and Nigerian Institute of Science, Laboratory Technology in this regards to fast-track activities, because by the time you realize that we produce this equipment and nobody is teaching them, it's as good as not having anything in the schools. So, sir, is there any collaboration between your organization and Nigerian Institute of Science, Laboratory Technology in this regards? Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Onduka here. Naseni, you came with 20 memos. You've taken our time, and your memos are well detailed, and you're asking for a lot. You've kept us here for 2 hours, so you will pay for this event. Oh, Madam Pamsek, Naseni can cover the entire bill for these events. That way, we don't have to worry about anything. They've taken a lot of our time. A lot of their memos are related to, like he said, products that some of them are already in the market. And there's something the Chinese did to the Americans and the Europeans. They did what is called reverse engineering. They got a lot of products from Europe and America, took them into China, tore them apart, and rebuilt them, and started making each of those parts in China. And that's how China became a superpower. My first trip in China, 2008, I was blown away. That's what we should do, and I hope that's what Naseni is doing. In any case, a lot of these prayers you're asking for, like this gentleman said, a lot of these products are in the market. Is NASRDA doing any due diligence to make sure that a lot of the technologies in these products are reverse engineered for the Nigerian market? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question?
Thank you, the PM and all other protocol observed. My name is Dr. Onu. I'm the head of engineering of FIRO. I have two comments on two of the memos. The first one is the last one he presented, which is on multi-grain thresher. Our institute is involved in post-harvest processing, especially something to do with cereals and cassava. So it will be of interest for us to collaborate with NASRDA. Again, we are in a position where yearly we organize conference for local fabricators. We gather them together and then be able to exchange ideas. And as an equipment builder, sometimes we get requests more than we can handle. So we now involve those local fabricators as a way of even empowering them. So it will be of interest that we collaborate with you. The second one is on the vehicle kit. That one too, I think it will be good to almost everybody here, because in one way or the other, we make use of vehicles, and at times we are at the mercy of our local mechanics. So but if we have something that can guide us as professionals to at least do the first diagnosis ourselves, it will be easy for us to even monitor the mechanics and at the same time empower them to know more instead of doing guesswork or trial by error. So something like that is very vital for us to have in our country as a way of empowerment and as a way of us enlightening ourselves. Because sometimes it looks somehow that as an engineer, you cannot know what is happening to a vehicle that you are driving. And it doesn't take good of us. So something like that will be of help. And we are looking forward to having something like that at our reach. Thank you very much.
The permanent secretary, all protocol observed. The presenter, Mr. Naseni, in one of your memo you presented on the issue of, Mr. Richard Doherty from Plateau State, on production of solar panels. I would have wished if you can make it this way, training on production of solar panels, installation and management. I think that would be better for us, instead of just production of the solar panels without the training on how to install it and then managing it. Thank you very much.
Are we done?
Thank you, Madam Pamsek. My name is Bonnie Alaneme. I'm a science communication specialist and a publisher as well. Also a member of Abuja Chamber of Commerce. Yes, NASRDA is well known to me over the years. I'm proud of them. They have rolled out a number of products as well, actually. But my concern up to today is one thing. NASRDA, I don't know to what extent have you been able to test run some of these prototype, some of these innovations you've developed. To what extent have you developed it? How do we verify the efficiency of these innovations you've rolled out? That's my first question. Secondly, what is economic value? Because as an investor, like somebody said, you need to convince me before I put my money into that innovation or research. What's the economic value? How do I recoup my investment? So these are things, the information that's lacking in some of these research outputs. coming out from various research institutions. And it's a problem. It's a big problem to the industry. As a member of Abuja Chamber of Commerce, each time you mention research from a research institute, they look the other way around because they don't take them serious. Because they still believe that the research of today, our researchers in this country are more interested in their academic promotion rather than in product development. Because if actually research is meant for solve a problem, like as it should be, I think before you even start, you need to look out for one or two stakeholders or industry player that you need to partner with, But after all the effort, you still preaching, begging for collaboration or partnership. So because you don't spend time to educate or communicate your output to the right people, and you don't spend time to come up with economic value, because that's the main thing that will attract investors, please. Thank you so much.
Any other intervention?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me start from the last one. In research, we have different type of research. We have information research, research-driven. Like there was one time, the US said they want to put somebody in the moon. That is a general research. Research, they have an open research for that. So all of our research basically are research-driven. So we get a product. Okay, this is what we are going to do, and we get a final result for it. That's why I mentioned that there's always a time bound in all our research. And secondly, when we discover that starting a product from the scratch, if you discover a lot of Nigeria have prototype all from the scratch, it takes time. It can even take 4 or 5 years. And so that is why we're not having anything. So that's why we went into this collaborative C. We collaborate, we send engineers to that area, and then we don't have to create. And don't forget, one of our mandates is basically reverse engineering. So you pieces the whole engine, they look at it, the coordinate, you can change the coordinate to a small distance. That is what makes your own to be different. Now somebody asked about how our products, what makes it to be different. Let me tell you that all our NASRDA solar panels are the best in this country, compared with what even Chinese people are making. We have a factory in Karachi that produces solar panels. And when you look at the whole content there, they are ours, you say the best. There's somebody asked a question whether our products have been tested. They have all been tested. For presently, we even have a warehouse. And when you are going towards, maybe some of us have not seen, there's this company that leads to the train station. It's a very big company owned by, maybe, I don't know the company that owns it, but the man is not in Nigeria. They have been in this country for over 20 years now, say granite and everything. So they have a warehouse. So we have even liaised with the man. And so all our products now, for security purpose, have all been placed there. And there are a lot of, how do I call it, marketers are already coming. People who want to buy are already coming for all our products. Then for the vehicle diagnostic tool, somebody asked a question relating to that. I know that for this vehicle diagnostics, it's going to help a lot of people in this country. The reverse engineering would have answered that one because our mandate basically is to reverse anything. But if you go to China, what they do is that they will just this one, pieces on, pieces on, pieces on. When they do the pieces, they will just pick it one by one. That's why they do it. We have a lot of our engineers that have gone there, and so that is the language. Say, you want pieces, 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 pieces? Yes, yes. So when you pieces it, you now look at it, I'm going to change the coordinates. And don't forget in research, what makes your work to be different, to be a novel work, is that you look at it. Let me just digress a little bit. I remember when I was doing my own research, the research I did was on nonlinear. So there's the man who did his own was linearity. So now say, okay, when my supervisor said, no, you can't continue with that. You need to do something that is non-linear. I did something, everybody knows this wild wind. They call it wind desert ripple. Wind desert ripple. There's somebody in the US, a plane was dropped in the desert by by the wind desert ripple because of the sensitivity. People in Nigeria, when you say it, they will call it maybe an agent of the devil is moving around. But that is the mathematical aspect of it was what I worked on. And I discovered that it was linear. So when my papa said, okay, when the thing is moving like this, is moving, when it moves towards the river, it caused canoe to capsize. So the chaotic situation of that mathematics said that my father said, okay, I need to work on it. It took me almost 6 years for me to finish that work. My work in University of Lagos now. So in any research work, basically what you need to do is to say, okay, I have this, there's a gap here. That is what we are doing. It's all our work. Like the question the man is saying that we are not giving us the science of it. We are not here to talk about, the formula. Maybe you are looking at chemistry, all those things, organic chemistry, structure. You understand? So, because people here, we have people who are historians, people who are into political science, we have people who are just sociologists. But they may not understand. If I didn't mention that there's this wind something, people call it wind desert. But some people don't even know the name. But it ripples a lot. So that was the area I had to work on, which is an applied mathematics. So that is just by the wayside. So for all our products, what we do, we make sure that there's a gap. If we want to go to China, we say, okay, we bring this product, so there's a gap here. Let's do this thing. That makes it much more unique, more better than all other this thing. Then somebody was asking that the collaboration on science, on on the training kits. All you just need to do, since you are in Malaysia, you just, in your State, you can contact our hospitals in Malaysia. Malaysia will now contact Okene, and then the collaboration will be okay. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. So, permission to continue. I'm running off very soon. We also have that same center in Jaligo. They come up with, page 60 now. I'm on page 60 now. Page 60. Okay. On the provision of process automation training in Northeast part of the country. They're also seeking for collaboration with all northern states, both academia, institution, and industry. What they do, presently before there's not course like called mechatronic engineering in this country. Everybody knows. Mechatronic involves people studying mechanical engineering and electronics. But if you say you are doing mechanic and electronic, you might be confused. But what this center, but thank God, they have what's called a Factor Center. Factor is just an Israeli company that it came, and then they loaded our system, our institute, with this machine. That's what if you go to all this, maybe Coca-Cola company, some of us have gone to that Coca-Cola company before, you see the bottle will moving like this, you understand? Because the mechanical aspect of it, it's an assembly of line, chain of assembly of line, the thing will be moving down, and then you see something will be cocking it. Those are just simple programs that they just write because it's mechatronics. So here, this center have this Factor Certified Training Center. And so they just want to collaborate with people who are in academic, some people coming out from the school, they don't even know what to do. They say, what course did you study? I told them, okay, they put them on a small thing. They can't do it. But this center is actually out to assist. So basically, in this regard, they have those two prayers. Council hereby pray to approve that engagement with industry to adopt automation technology, foster economic growth, and enhancing productivity in industrial sector. And secondly, approve partnership between this institute, Advanced Manufacturing Technology Development Institutes, and academic institute to provide certified process automation training based on Factor brand, building local capacity for industrial modernization. I'm going to another, we are looking very soon, we'll round up. We have just 2 more memos. This memo is from one of our institutes, Solid Mineral Machine and Equipment Development Institute, we call it SUMEDI. So there is a memorandum on capacity development in the design and fabrication of a 5 to 10 ton-hour diesel operated mobile hammer crusher. This institute is in NASRDA state. I'm going to go through what they have. So this time, this machine is helped in mining. It crushes stone, and it was locally built. It's locally built. So it's just to tell the council that, look, this thing is available in this very close by here. So, and in that regard, they only have, because it is better for us to take advantage of it, because it's not bulky. You know, it's not like other machines that are so big. But this one is not so big, and the crusher can be used to crush medium or hard bitumen with low water content. You know, if you've been to all these mining sites, they also use water, but with little this thing can do the work. So in this regard, they have 3 prayers. Council is hereby pray to approve that the federal government to facilitate the provision of additional workshops, laboratory, machinery, equipment, and other needed infrastructure to fast-track development of mining and mineral processing industry for the benefit of the country for economic diversification. That the states and local government, as well as other stakeholders, to collaborate with the agency for skill acquisition and training in mineral processing. I know there are so many states that have mineral demand to collaborate with this institute. The Federal Ministry of Solid Mineral and Steel Development, government agency, and other private company with similar mandates to effectively development of this solid mineral sector. And finally, I'm having the last memo. The memo is designed from one of our institutes, Agricultural Machinery and Equipment Development Institute, that is AMEDI. It's also in NASRDA state. Let me just give a brief this thing. Yeah, you know, in Nigeria, although we have land, but in some areas, there's a land tussle problem. You can't just go and enter into any field now. But their memorandum is on climate smart agriculture for food security. This is basically to adopt what we call a perception agriculture. I think in one of the things here we mentioned what we call precision agriculture. That is what Israeli government are actually doing. So they know the amount of water, the amount of nutrient that each plant will use to grow. Here, what we are doing, if you go to that place, is actually what we call soilless. They are not using anything that involves much soil. It's a soilless farming. The soilless farming, all you need to do is to irrigate this thing, then all the nutrients and the pesticides that are required will be transported to each of these. They use basically cocoa pots. Cocoa pots, that's what they are using. If you go there, there's a lot of harvest, I think last year, from this thing. So we have just 3 prayers in this regard. So council hereby pray to approve the encouragement of more agricultural entrepreneurs to adopt it, considering the advantages over practice of open field cultivation. You know, there are a lot of tussle now. If you go to some villages, they'll be fighting up because of land. But if you are able to adopt this what we call the perception agriculture, Nigeria will move far. And then to support understanding in domesticating this novel practice in our local community, even at the back of your house, you can do quite a lot of things instead of going to the market. Do a lot of things. If you see the tomatoes and all these things that we harvested of recent, and all this big pepper in that place, it will amaze you. And I'm sure some of us must have heard what Lagos State is doing now. Lagos, although they are not into perception agriculture, what they do basically is to make sure they focus on all these big tomatoes, big pepper, all the things that we are using to cook. And support Naseni in domesticating this novel practice in our local community in view of its capital intensiveness. It's not a very expensive something. You are not acquiring any land. You are not acquiring any land. You can even use your backyard. And then for us, for every family, even as civil servant, you can adopt this thing. And then to more public enlightenment on its application. Thank you, PAMSEC. Thank you for listening, everybody.
Thank you so much. Please, any comments, observation, questions, or remarks? Thank you.
Our own very dynamic permanent secretary, Ma, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to stand on the existing protocol. My name is Arthur Agbabuka. I work with the National Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency, NASRDA. And one thing I want to talk about from Mr. Nasenisa was something he talked about, solid mineral capacity, the machines. One thing NASRDA has tried to do is look at the environmental and health impact of the mining activities within the country. And Nasarawa State is also a stakeholder. And my very distinguished brother has talked about the machineries being produced. Now, NASRDA will be concerned about what is the environmental and health impact of this machine, if you have anything like that. Because when the Chinese come in with their machines, they have a lot of hazard that comes with it. The crushers they bring in, many a times when enforcement officers go to the field to carry out enforcement activities, a lot of advice is given to them to mitigate or remediate whatever environmental hazards are being caused by these machines. So, sir, mine is, what is Naseni doing with this machinery production in Nasarawa State to mitigate or bring down the emission level, dust particulate matters, for these machines to be in production? Thank you.
Thank you, Mommy, and thank you, the presenter. You took us through so many variables, and then you gave us some content. Nevertheless, that which was spoken some times ago by my senior colleague concerning cascading down these funds that we are talking with relation to science, that for science and technology, which is domiciled with engineering alone now, I think there's a need to still revisit that. And finally, your penultimate presentation, where you talk about this mobile hammer crusher design. Are you saying you have it? Because that is what is written here. At the same time, you are talking about expanding it or something. I don't know, talking about the designing.
Design.
So, because I know that if for hammer crusher in this country, particularly even in Abuja, I think it's Dantata and Sao that has something related to that or something like that, and it's a money spinner. If you have something like that, I think you should be able to make much money for the country. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I've answered that one. We have it for the environmental impacts of the crusher. Basically, before you start a factory site, all you need to do is to go and check up with your agent, your ministry, and then they will access the site so they know whether it's near to the populate, whether it will cost a lot of things. So all we do is to design this machine, and if you need a smaller one, we design it for you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, we are aware. You can tell us. Okay. Well, we'll try and be around. But I know that how cannot come before them. It's difficult for them to come before them.
Please, let's bring our attention to the meeting. Less noise, please. Thank you.
Recommendation. Okay, it's a very long. There are so many things. Thank you. Thank you. Please, are we accepting the recommendation of those 8 memoranda to, is it 8 or 10? 10 memoranda to the summit? They are no longer here. Please, are we accepting the recommendation of the 10 memoranda to the summit? Thank you.
All right. With your kind permission, Permanent Secretary, I will invite Association of Nigerian Inventors for their memorandum presentation. Thereafter, Manufacturer Association of Nigeria should also be ready, then followed by Nigeria Academic of Science, then United Nation Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization should also prepare to save our time. Thank you. Is the Nigerian Association of Nigerian Inventors? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. A very good afternoon to the PAMSEC and all other protocols duly observed. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am inventor engineer Dr. Sadiq Abubakar Mohammed, an associate professor in the Department of Agricultural and Bioresource Engineering, Federal University of Technology, Minna, and also the acting national president, Association of Nigerian Inventors. We have 3 memorandum here to submit and also the prayers we have. First and foremost, ANI, Association of Nigerian Inventors, came into being on the 26th of March in 1986 with the sole responsibility or aim geared towards promoting indigenous technologies in Nigeria. Nigeria is a hub of talented people, highly resourceful, and making impact around the world. So if that can be done, we can do that at home. So the first one we have is for the establishment of the National Research and Innovation Fund to avail funds to Inventors Association. The purpose of this memorandum is to prevail upon the Council on the need to establish the National Research and Innovation Fund that will grant the Inventors Association and enable inventors and innovators to develop their ideas, providing patenting supports and also prototypes to commercialization. The Council is invited to note that the project objective is the engagement of all tiers of government to promote the drive to need for adequate funding through Nigerian Research Innovation Fund to co-manage and oversee by ANI, thereby significantly improving the innovative index of our nation. This availability of funds will boost knowledge-based researchers, creating a cycle of national prosperity from startup to markets. What all this now is saying is that for a nation, like developing nation like Nigeria, science, engineering, and innovation holds the key to our prosperity when it comes to economic development. So the prayers we have for this is the council to prevail upon the government to approve the following: advocacy, legislation to deliberate action or to create awareness on the National Research and Innovation Fund, to speedy establishment and approval of the proposed NRF-IF, to enable timely approval of budget and disbursements in liaison with National Assembly and Budget Office to speed up research and development efforts. Also, to encourage and organize international missions to develop our nation, or to expose our researchers and our innovators the modern trends and global best practices. The second memo has to do with the establishment of Association of Nigerian Inventors as a regulatory body responsible or assisting in monitoring and evaluating inventions and innovations outputs to realize commercialization. The purpose of this is to prevail upon the council as well on the need to establish a regulatory body responsible for commercialization of R&D outputs by inventors and innovators across the breadth of this country. The body is proposed to be named as Council for the Regulation of Innovation and Inventive Activities for Commercialization, and will be required to identify commercializable research outputs and enable adequate support through and other funding avenue. The Council is invited to note that the project's objective is establish the framework to transform the development of Nigeria into technological-based economy and promote creativity, innovativeness, and commercializable technologies and products for sustained economic development. The body will be responsible to monitor and evaluate all inventions and innovations in the state, all state of the Federation, from seminar, workshops, and technology fair, starting from the grassroots, from the 774 local governments, to national and international fora. The body will also create an enabling platform, such as technological summits, that offers inventors and innovators an opportunity to meet and advance the commercialization of research outputs. Our prayers also for this is that the Council should consider and approve the advocacy and deliberate action to create the regulatory body, the legislation, establishment, and approval of body to be named as Council for the Regulation of Innovation, Innovative and Inventive Activities for Commercialization, as a regulatory body to monitor R&D for commercialization, and the timely approval of budgets and disbursements to liaise with National Assembly and Budget Office to speed up R&D research efforts. Chinese, India, Korea did it. And the outcome-based education, the concept of innovation, skill acquisition was their priority. Art and crafts was their measure, and through which they build the children mindset in order to understand and interpret research ideas into products. The third memo is the establishment of Association of Nigerian Inventors. Sorry, please. The third memo is the establishment of science and technology parks. We need something like that within the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria. And the memorandum is to remind and prevail upon the Council on the need to implement specifically Section 2.5 of the National Science Technology Innovation Policy 2022 edition to establish Science and Technology Park in all the geopolitical zones to provide enabling environment for knowledge, infrastructure, and funding for the development of innovative ideas into prototypes and are standardized and made commercializable. And in doing this, the mandate of ANI is to lead and drive a long overdue establishment of science and technology parks with the primary objective of establishing a science technology park to provide a veritable platform to drive the competitiveness index of Nigeria by facilitating the journey from ideas to commercialization and really create a cycle of national prosperity. Our prayers also for this, that the government, through Federal Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology, should encourage the kickstart of the project through ANI in view of its significance to the innovative and competitive index of Nigeria. That ANI should be charged with creating awareness, which we are doing now, and the key driver for Federal Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology to attract potential partners and investors towards establishment of science and technology parks in every geopolitical zone in Nigeria, based on the 2022 documents. Once this is done, my permanent secretary and the audience, once this is done, Nigeria will be projected to the zenith of innovation. Jelani Aliyu, who we all know from the General Motors, has made landmark impacts in General Motors, is a Nigerian here. We have a lot of them. They are doing wonders because the enabling environment has been provided among the elsewhere colonials. And they are doing pretty well. So if the environment is made conducive and where they can explore, I am pretty sure, no place like home, we will be willing to come back home and develop it. You have your concept, you have your innovative concept, you are being downed, and no one is looking into it. Someone who knows your worth will just come and employ you, and that is the end. And also to our regulatory agencies to help also in the promotion of all this. Thank you very much for your audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. Any comments?
Yes. Thank you very much, Annie, for your eloquent presentation. And I must tell you that I share your frustration. But notwithstanding, I need to provide information. NASRDA is charged with the responsibility of driving through the National Research and Innovation Plan. In that plan, there is the National Research and Innovation Council. The council does exist, and it subsumes everything you have mentioned. However, there is no legislative backing for that council. Right now, we have gone through some legislative processes that are seeing that council passing through the House of Reps. So we're expecting it to get to the Senate. As another angle of responsibility of NASRDA is to drive through the implementation plan that is attached to that policy. And the final phase is for the Senate to adopt the process that has been developed in the House of Reps. So you should be at rest that, yes, the Innovation Council, there is work on it, and it will take care of all those issues of commercialization. In the last few weeks, a new government intervention came that brought about a conflagration, so to speak, of ministries, departments, and agencies that are looking at the same thing, the Innovation Fund. And the plan is to have concurrent jurisdiction among all those collaborating partners, with science and technology being the secretariat. And at the end of it, the plan is to look at 2% of the consolidated revenue fund to fund innovation, science and technology, and to help to develop all the different things that Annie has done. Now, what I need to mention is that by the time this law comes to the Senate, all of you as stakeholders, including the states, need to come and be part of the final agreement that will develop a National Research and Innovation Fund for Nigeria and enablement of the council that already exists, that has met a couple of times, but there is no law backing it. And because of that, we are being shut out of certain global funds that will come into the country. So put your mind at rest. The process is on. We have not yet reached Uhuru, the end of the journey, but the journey has started. Essentially, what we have been doing in NASRDA is to collect all the data, look through, like a CRISPR-Cas9 kind of arrangement. We see all where the problems are, and then we try to do repairs and submit proposals on the possibilities of what can come after that. You will get funds at the end of the day, but we need to gather our loins together as a community in science and tech, and I think that's where the weakness is currently. So we need to all work together to ensure that we are all working in one direction and there is no disparity in our thinking. But rest assured, a lot is being done, but too many people are doing that bit, and that's probably what causes the delay. But eventually, we will get there. One final thing I wanted to add, because it's very important from what I've listened to, we need to learn how to leverage funds. NASRDA has funds, raw materials has funds, tech funds has funds, but if we leverage these funds and put them in a pot for a particular purpose, those ones who are excluded from some of these funds will now have access if it is directed towards innovation and commercialization. There is no longer domiciled in university, it's no longer domiciled in private sector, but we are talking about funds. So if you join the bandwagon of people who are thinking about innovating around the use of funds, such that those boundaries that exist between access to tech fund funds or NASRDA or raw materials will now have something that collapses all the funding opportunities together, maybe a percentage of their funds, and puts it in a way that supports innovation and commercialization that we are thinking about, then maybe we'll be getting there. But this is part of what the National Research and Innovation Council tried to do, was rejected, but is still on the table. So I think eventually we will get to that promised land where funding is available and there is a council that regulates the practice of science commercialization in the country. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Permanent Secretary, ma'am, directors, DGs, PAMSECs from states and all other participants here, good afternoon. The National Research and Innovation Fund has already been addressed by the Director General of NASRDA. And I know that the ministry is working hard, to see that the National Research and Innovation Fund becomes a reality. But meanwhile, at the level of the ministry, we have a small program, that we always implement for inventors and innovators. Because we used to work very closely with your association since the year 2007. In fact, since, I don't know whether you know Mr. Momodu, he's late now. That time he was the chairman of this association. In fact, at the time, there were 2 factional associations, and we were able to manage them. And then we worked with them very, very closely. And the program that we have, this Presidential Standing Committee on Inventions and Innovations, I don't know whether you were here yesterday when I presented a memo on this. Were you here?
Not really.
Okay.
Sorry.
Because every year, many of your members benefit from this Presidential Standing Committee on Inventions and Innovations, even though the funding is not, what, we desire. But with the little we have, every year, we give grants to inventors, deserving inventors and innovators. And it's a very competitive, program. Last year, that's the 2023 financial year, over 500 applications. We received over 500 applications, but only 32 were able to scale through. So all these things you are talking about as, you are advocating for regulatory role. All these things that you outlined, we consider all these things before any candidate, becomes successful and then deserve the grant. Environmental issues, technical feasibility, commercial viability, and all that. And I think when you are in the process of inventing a device, before you commercialize, you are expected to also protect that intellectual property. They are expected to patent it. NOTAP is here. They can give more clarification on that. And NOTAP cannot patent an invention that they know that it will not see the light of the day. So it's another step in the regulatory, aspect of what you are talking about. And we have so many other agencies. We have like this SON, we have Korean, and so many other agencies also that do this thing that you say, your association, you are advocating your association to, to do. Because I don't see how Nigerian Association of Inventors will play a regulatory role, again, for inventors and innovators, So, in the issue of Science Park, I also presented a memo on Science Park yesterday. There's a Science Park that we are trying to develop. It is under implementation right now. But because of the funding, we are constrained by funding. So that is why the pace is very, very slow in the implementation. But we are now partnering with a company abroad based on public-private partnership to develop that park. And when that park is finally developed and become operational, I think many of your members will also find places there. So, and it's not only that one. This one we are building at Shesco. The DG Shesco is here locally. It's a model science and technology park. And it's expected to be replicated in states, even universities, and other institutions. So the issue of Science Park, we are on it. And by the grace of God, it will see the light of the day. So thank you very much.
You, Engineer Dairu. Any other comments?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't know which of the comments that was. Okay, Tom. Thank you very much for all the comments raised with respect to the science, with what NASRDA is actually doing, and we actually look forward to working much, much closer with you so that we avail you with the inventors that we have within the nooks and crannies of Nigeria, because some are just whiling away there. The intermediary is what's the challenge that we have been having, but we're all doing all our best, putting all our hands on deck to actually bring all parties involved to showcase made in Nigeria products. So with respect to the technological park that has been our concern, thank you for shedding more light on that, and I think that is a good one for all of us, except if there is any other question that I need to respond to. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The issue of funding, having a fund on behalf of Annie, I hope it won't be like that of Nesini. When the fund comes to fruition, Nesini will jump on top of the roof, likewise Annie. So we'll streamline most of these things and see how we can assist ourselves to improve science, technology, and innovation nationwide, so that no region, no ethnic group will be lacking. We need to move forward. So thank you. Those in favor that the memoranda should be recommended to the summit for consideration and approval. Should it be forwarded? No. Thank you.
Thank you, my permanent secretary. Next, we invite Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. Are they here? Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. Okay. What about Nigeria Academy of Science? Is anyone here? Is there any representative? All right. Moving forward to United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. Do we have a representative or anyone? Okay. All right. So, Permanent Secretary, with your kind permission, the FCT representative is here. All right, we call on FCT. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, dear Permanent Secretary, all DGs, PAMSECs, commissioners, directors, and my fellow participants. I'm here on behalf of the FCT, and I want to duly apologize that we're not here yesterday. There was a cut in the bridge of communication. So we actually did not know the council started yesterday. And my boss, who is, the way we call our names in FCT is quite unlike other states. When you call somebody a director, the person is automatically a commissioner. And when you say commissioner, it's like a PAMSEC. That's the way our own nomenclature goes. So the supposed commissioner for science and tech, who is the director of science and technology and innovation, Dr. Technology Scholar Wole Olobashola, is not even in the country. So he had to now send an SOS to me. My name is Nwachukwu Angela, Director of Technology Acquisition and Promotion, to come and stand in for him. So we've tried to rectify the move of information. Somehow it got stuck somewhere. So we didn't know. Please permit take our apology, ma. Next time it won't happen. FCT has not been like this. So greetings from the FCT.
Hold on. It's not me, it's the entire session. Do you accept? Because she's the owner of the land.
Well, if you don't accept, you can as well stand up and take your baggages home.
This is how they are threatening us.
So greetings from Ogawike. You are all welcome to the city of Abuja, where it is happening. Take a trip around Abuja, you will know that we are working. Thank you very much for your patience and your understanding. Please go with me to page 81. FCT has about 8, but I'll collapse them to 5 to save your time, because I know you want to have a tour of the city of FCT. So the first one there on page 81 is a memorandum on the development and commercialization of research findings on a project, insect terminator. I really want us to look at this critically. I just lost a 37-year-old cousin as a result of malaria. He will be buried next tomorrow. And to talk about this insurgence of malaria is like a bandit now in Nigeria. We are looking at that insect terminator critically, a device which answers SDG 3 on good health and well-being, SDG 4 on quality education, SDG 5 on responsible consumption and production. So this insect terminator, the purpose of it is the objective of the insect terminator is to provide solution to combat mosquito-borne disease, malaria, and enhance educational development, especially in our schools. The device capitalizes on the principles of phototaxis, exploiting blue light to entice mosquito and other harmful insects. The device is environmentally friendly and can be used even while sleeping, unlike insecticides and mosquito coils, whose usage always leads to emission of smoke and harmful chemicals that are injurious to our health and environment. This device features a recharging and solar means, ensuring uninterrupted operation, even in the absence of power from national grid or inability to afford the purchase of fuel. Additionally, it serves as a reading lamp, promoting academic pursuit in a mosquito-free environment. It's a need-based research, honestly, need-based, because we got tired of children in school falling sick of malaria. You send parents, they keep coming around, come and pick up your child, come and pick up your child. So we went into that device, and when you put it on, the mosquitoes just come, insects, crawling ones and flying ones come around, and they are terminated. And the other blue, the white light part of it, now gives light to the students to read. And you can just set it in the center of the hostel, and life keeps going on. So it's a dual purpose thing. At least the incidence of malaria has reduced in some of the council in prayer. The council is hereby prayed to approve the use of the product by students and Nigerian citizenry for the actualization of this objective. 2, create linkage between FCT and relevant departments and agencies of FMIST, such as NOTAP, NASENI, MBTI, and SHESCO in the patenting, analysis, development, and commercialization of this finding. That's one. The next memo is on page 82, and that memo is talking about, the memorandum is on the development of family wealth through cottage farming. Everyone is aware of what we are suffering in farms now, including FCT too. And there is a need for families to please think outside the box on how to put food on their tables and eat well as well. So that one is also on SDG 2 on well-being and consumption. And so the purpose of this memo is to seek Council's approval for the adoption of family wealth development through enhanced skill acquisition in sustainable cottage and mixed farming. Prayers. The Council is hereby prayed to note that the development of prototypes of mixed cottage farming sites in our families stand as a model for national adoption. The need to inculcate the skills of sustainable farming in our teeming youths from family units. Note that family health, wealth, and well-being through a robust advocacy will be enhanced with cottage farming. The better ecosystem through a systemic environmental friendly and climate change mitigation activities is ensured when we make use of cottage farming. Council also to approve the mandatory adoption of cottage farming activities and provisions in our smart cities, from the designing to the usage of same. The third memo, I told you I'm collapsing them, is on page 83. And the memorandum is on the hydrogen kitchen, a sustainable, cost-effective cooking solution for a greener future. So the purpose of this memo is to present an overview of the hydrogen kitchen project and recommend actions for government support and implementation in alignment with the national theme of research, develop, innovate, and commercialize, a circle for national prosperity. The Council is hereby respectfully invited to note that the project is grounded in extensive research on hydrogen as a clean energy carrier and its potential application in cooking. I want to actually let us know that this is a very small device, but you can amplify it, you can commercialize it, and it works on the premise of electrolysis of water. So it's something you can actually do in your kitchen, electrolysis of water that will now separate the oxygen and the hydrogen is tapped somewhere and is collected and it can light. If you were at the Technology Expo last year, you would have seen the device. And that's a clean gas. You don't need to go to filling station. All you need to have is water. Just need water. Once you have running water, you can always do that by electrolysis and you are good to go. Prayers. The Council is hereby prayed to note that the innovative approach and potential benefits of the hydrogen kitchen project and to approve the recommended action for further development and implementation of this sustainable cooking solution, especially by some of your parastate asthma, so they can look into it for better coupling. And I think in this regard, NASENI has been yearning for work, and so we give them work from FCT. And NOTAP will come in. Is the Energy Commission is not with you? Is with you. So we are seeking that you could please come and look at it. But one thing we know for sure is that electrolysis is more than able to give us clean hydrogen, environmentally friendly, and you can cook in your houses. Then we'll now go to page 85, and it's a memorandum on enhancing national prosperity through climate innovation, the circular economy of research and commercialization. The purpose of
of restaurants, you see them armed around, to attract insects and kill them. So what is unique about this product that is different from the ones we have in the market? Because it's not just about us coming up with products. There must be something unique that you are bringing on board that is different from what we already have. And that will be your selling point, ma'am.
Okay,
the second contribution I needed to make, I'm a little bit worried about the use of secondary school students for farming. It has a lot of ethical considerations. One, many of these children, at the end of the day, may not end up benefiting directly from the proceeds. At the end of the day, you will have used them as for labor to get proceeds. And at the end of the day, the proceeds goes either into the pocket of the school or whatever thing is going, but they don't benefit. So it raises a lot of ethical consideration. I can appreciate the innovation you are bringing on board. Assuming you are laying emphasis on the educational aspect of it. For example, how do I improve the hybrid of so-and-so crop products? You use this part with this part, we are coming up with that. Yes, that makes. But for you to not be thinking of production that will sustain and feed the school, the state, I think is a little bit, we need to do things within a tasteful bound so that it does not raise this ethical consideration. For example, as a parent, if I have a child in such a school and you are subjecting my child to such, I will raise a lot of questions. So we needed to be well guided in executing some of this project. I just felt I should make this contribution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. But I don't think we'll send a child to farm yam or cassava. Most times, there's this curriculum in biology that is tuned to botany. Even when I was in school as far back as 1975 to 1980, I'm sure some of you are looking at me with two eyes now. 75 to 1980 were in secondary school. And we were also made to cultivate our ridges, where we were making even cucumber, tomatoes. They are short seasonal things that comes under biology as a curriculum, Greek as a curriculum, and the child also has a botanical a plant album that they do, they get to eventually learn more out of it. And so when we get it, we consume it. It's an enhancement to what the government of the day is affording. In as much as that is also not too ethical, that government should allow children to bring something. But the children are excited. They are eating their cucumber, they are eating their tomatoes, they are eating one thing or the other. They are short seasonal things, sir. They are not long, so the child is benefiting from it. It's not a cumbersome something. So that's the angle we are coming from. We don't sell it and put the money in the staff room or the principal eats it. Then you asked about the ethical, the selling point in the insect terminator. Fine. If you are really, I was a teacher for 19 years, and in the boarding house doesn't naturally have pink and blue lights. What we have are the white lights, and most probably the archaic one, the yellow bulbs. For reading purposes, they are now putting a solar and white light now. But then the mosquito is there with us during prep. The mosquito is there with us in the hostel. We're not talking about the restaurant. And so when you have this terminator there, you can sit it in the center of the classroom, and the mosquitoes are attracted to it and gives the child peace to read. And cut short our, what they call it, ill health of malaria. It's not it's for school purpose in particular, sir. It's not a restaurant purpose. So if we can commercialize it for schools, it will be okay. That's the angle we are coming from. Thank you.
Thank you, my landlady. You can go and sit down.
You can sit well, ma. Just you're well seated. And meanwhile, when you go outside, there is another one we put where there's a little thing we exhibited, and I'm sure you'll be happy with it.
Okay.
where we have also advanced a lot of waste to wealth. We have also advanced to use PVCs to make your tables and chairs and dinings and school seats. They are outside. So maybe when you look at it, you will love it. Mm-hmm. My useful tenant, you are paying your dues. Thank you very much, ma.
Well done, ma. Well done. Dr. Nduka, again, academia and private sector. You mentioned one thing just now which got my attention.
Yes.
Waste to wealth.
Yes.
In FCT, everybody here can attest, everyone who's based in FCT, there's an increasing amount of waste being generated, lying everywhere across the environment. From one community on the outskirts of FCT, even to Wuse and Maitama and Asokoro. I know Mr. Project, His Excellency Wike, is doing a fantastic job on the roads and connecting and opening up new communities. What are we doing in collaboration with either the Ministry of Science and Tech and Innovation, they have an environmental team, to improve the environment in FCT in terms of waste and the collection of waste from people's homes and offices? Thank you.
Oga, you are very right. You see, when you say you are guilty, what do you do to me again? When I say I'm guilty, it's not when I argue. One, the problem we have in FCT is one, overpopulation. FCT is not designed for the kind of population you are seeing. And now waste collection at designated places. We need a lot of advocacy. In short, you need to see the waste disposers moving. When they look left and right, they are not seeing anybody. They dump it there. They are not even ready to travel to the next disposal point. But I'm not trying to say that maybe they are 40% guilty, because if Environmental Protection Board could designate those places, make it in pockets, I am sure they will do better. But they need to go long distances. I know some cities where in this Abuja, where they don't even have the presence of environmental protection, AEPB facilities, they don't have. So what you have said is right. And I will carry it, that's why I'm here, sir. I'll carry it back to my people and my ogas, and let them know that the council is worried at the level of waste available in Abuja. Then the particular office responsible for it, I'm sure they will re-strategize. So sorry, sir. But as for the farm waste, we are really working on it. Turning those farm waste, like somebody said, why would you ask someone not to cut trees, especially these climate actions? You are telling somebody not to cut trees. What is the alternative? Knowing fully well that the people who have come to meet that tree cutting, charcoal business, wood business is their means of livelihood. So we are also working in that line, to the extent that we're also working with farmers on how to turn their farm waste into what we call biochar and for soil remediation. So we are doing our bit, and we'll be consulting FMIST. I want to really say that they've been great people. DG NASRDA is a beautiful partner, and he's doing well with us. NOTAP, I will come back. We will come back again. We have so many of them that are really looking into what FCT is doing and all that. So I want to congratulate you, ma, and say more grace to FMIST. We are borrowing from you, and we keep coming back. But sir, I will not miss you. Thank you very much. I'll come back to you. God bless all of us. Thank you, and have wonderful deliberations ahead. I hope I'm free to go.
Yes, dear.
No, she has not released me.
I have.
Okay.
Thank you. I had a question I wanted to push to you, but your collaborator now mentioned that he will speak on the sterile insects. I hope DG NITA, you are not still in the African mindset that you don't share information. You should share information. That's the essence of why we are here, so that people will know. Because like the insects, termination of insects, it's not all insects that should be terminated. Like when you go back to Niger Delta, Ogoni, to be specific, the burning of the gases burnt everything out. At the end of the day, there were no insects to fertilize or pollinate their farmlands. And that was what led to the late environmentalists championing that cause before his being taken away from us in 1995. So we cannot eliminate all insects. We should identify them, like you are trying to exterminate mosquitoes. So we should have equipment or an instrument that identifies mosquito and deals directly with mosquitoes, because there are still other insects that are still beneficiary to the sustainability of ecosystem, both fauna and flora. Thank you. Ms. DG Naita, why don't you wish to share your information on sterile insects for us, with us?
My mommy, it's very simple. I think I was only been trying to be technical about it. I have a memo that is here, and we've been pleading with you. If you allow it, it will be made explicit where we have the gamma-60 radiation, ma. Please, ma, I am pleading with you publicly now, if you can help us. You will hear it. It's memo number 3 here.
Thank you very much, my permanent secretary, and let me thank every member on the top table and all stakeholders for your very active participation at this National Council meeting. So we are moving on now. We are welcoming briefs. Of course, we have one pending that will be coming up very soon. Welcome a brief from Edo State. So if you have a brief and you are in this hall, please, you indicate, and I'll come to you and then have you accredited for that purpose. So we start with Edo State, with a brief from Edo State. Thank you.
Sorry, we did not recommend the memoranda to the summit. They are not recommended?
FCC is automatic.
Agreed?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we welcome the brief from Edo State. Thank you.
The Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, members of the member of the table, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my name is Engineer Jonathan Kwebo, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Science and Technology, Edo State. Edo State, I want to really thank the chairman of technical committee for allowing me to inform Council of some of the activities and achievements of Edo State through Ministry of Science and Technology. Edo State has been actively engaged in national science competitions and exhibition. Our successes were recorded. Edo State has upgraded science laboratory infrastructure in some schools with the state-of-the-art facilities and provision of science equipment to some schools and consumables to promote STEM education, the quality of STEM education in the state. Edo State has deployed digital technology for teaching and learning in primary schools, which is Edo Best 1.0, and secondary school Edo Best 2.0. To promote the quality of science STEM education too. And Edo State installed fiber optics network across all the local government areas in the state with free Wi-Fi, powered with 24 hours solar light energy to distribute light and for them to use in a government establishment, schools, healthcare center, primary healthcare center, and others. So we have that in Edo State. As you all know, Edo State is fully digitalized. Edo State is one of the states in Nigeria to facilitate and adopt e-government tools administration. We have actually moved from analog mode of operation to digitalized, seamless, and effective mode of administration. Files are now processed using the state-wide service platform, which is eGov, for enabling quicker decision making and effective service delivery. It will interest you to know that today, Edo State went paperless since September. Edo State went paperless since September 2023. So there's nothing like paper. We send you information, you upload it, we will upload to you, and you download. We don't really use paper in our operation. Also, Edo State Skill Development Agency has created over 200 jobs in capacity building, digital skill development, and youth employment. This center is for NSQ certification. They use this center for NSQ certification. And we still have a Edo Production Center too, for training of artisans, craftsmen, and technicians. Also for this center too, it's also used for NSQ too center. And also to develop digital policy. And it was launched recently, last year. And this policy focuses on key areas. We have digital infrastructure development. We have e-governance and public service delivery. We have digital economy and entrepreneurship. We have also cyber security and data protection. We have digital literacy and skill development. Just to build 2 refineries, modular refineries in Edo State, and 2 ethanol plants in Edo State operating at 80% plant capacity. It's all till tomorrow. We are Edo State actually doing that. Edo State too, we have an independent power plant, Oshomo independent power, that generate 95 megawatts plant capacity too, that can supply power to electricity to government offices, companies, businesses too. So we have that in Edo State. And Edo State too built or established Tier 3 data center to monitor the operations within the center. Also for economic sustainability too, continuity for database for MSME too, and disaster recovery services. We have an ambulance using the Tier 3 data center. Anytime you have other natural disaster or human disaster, you call them, you have a toll gate, toll number, you call them, they will respond within 5 minutes at the urban and rural area. And that center is called the Edo Emergency Service, Medical Emergency Service. Two, Edo State has the highest, let me put it this way, one of the highest oil palm
behalf of the Chairman of Council, Engineer Professor Sadiq Zubair Abubakar, Fellow of Nigeria Society of Engineers, and Registrar Engineer Professor OAU, which is a Fellow of Nigeria Society of Engineers. We all know COREN as a regulatory body that saddled with responsibility of training. It was established in 1970, saddled with and amended in Act 2018 by federal government to regulate training and practice of all engineering with aspect of ramification in Nigeria. It is well known to people that it satisfies and register qualified engineering personnel and engineering firm to practice in all engineering fields, including energy sector of Nigeria. COREN also regulates competency standard and satisfy training personnel to be able to operate in renewable energy and energy efficiency, and increasing growing field of practice in engineering in Nigeria. It is part of COREN mandate to support growth and encourage the adoption of clean energy in Nigeria with collaboration with GIZ for the past 6 years. This COREN ensure that training are conducted based on competency standard, enforced and promoted by COREN and engineering support program. Respectively, COREN from time to time carry out supervisory and regulatory role on the renewable energy training institute spread all over the country in the following training area: mini-grid design, solar PV installation, rural hydropower civil engineering, energy management, solar PV installation supervision, energy audit. For the purpose of this assembly on science and innovation, may I restrict the presentation to the renewable energy sector, which is one aspect of engineering in empowering mandate by the Nigerian law to regulate. And you can visit us on our website on that aspect. The new roadmap of COREN have expanded COREN into 11 sectors: aviation, maritime, manufacturing, construction, telecommunication, and so on and so forth. You can get more facts on our website. And now, we talk about joint accreditation with NUC in order to make it efficient, and that's the new roadmap, so that COREN will not be going separate with without carrying NUC alone, and it will minimize costs in Nigeria. The new roadmap also ensure legal framework for any violator of the act in terms of maybe collapse building. If we find any engineering wanting or is involved, we have a standard and investigating panel that handle that. And if you are talking about fabrication, any commercialized aspect of the product, the firm have to register with COREN for standardization because it's part of our mandate. And secondly, for your information, COREN have already gotten provisional signatory with Washington Accord in the aspect that no engineer can go out in Nigeria can be molested because of the mobility of partnership with Washington Accord. And we are the second in Africa after South Africa that joined the Washington Accord. And any engineer graduate can come to COREN for any letter when you are going out for studies to back your knowledge. With this view, lastly, COREN have already embark on OBE, outcome-based education. That is, our students now, they have gotten practical knowledge from other practical knowledge for industry, based on the collaboration that we have with industry, Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, SON, Standard Organization of Nigeria, and so on and so forth. With this few point that I've highlighted, I believe Koren is ready to collaborate with many agencies and innovative science and technology. And I will thank the organizer for inviting Koren to showcase their services for better effectiveness and efficiency. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Corinne. Thank you so much. I think that will be all. Let's now invite one of our directors general, the DG NITA, to please present his brief. My DG, sir.
Once again, good afternoon. Thank you, Mommy. Well, I think it's a good luck that you came to present. That's why it has been cascaded now that I should give a brief on the SIT so that it will not seem as if maybe we want to hide. In the world of science, in the world of technology and innovation, what is eminent now is what? It's collaboration, no longer competition. So you don't hide. Whatever you have, you cannot have it all. So there's a need to collaborate. Now on this SI technique, that is sterile insect technique, it's a biological approach. It is eco-friendly. Environmentalists will love it. It promotes greenness. It supports reduction in increase in climate temperature and change. What is the principle behind this? It came when in the last century, in the fight against trypanosomiasis, which is a disease that is transmitted by one celled animal that is known as protozoa. But it is eminently transmitted, or it is caused by the protozoa, but eminently transmitted by fly. There is this saying in medicine that prevention is better than cure. If you remove the vector, the disease can no longer be propagated, and eventually the disease will be weaned. And if you just want to treat the disease will continue to reoccur. Because when you look at it, the vector, fly, does not need any visa or passport to come from Niger into Nigeria, from Cameroon into Nigeria. So the idea came that what are we to do if we are not to use the old system? What was the old system? The old system is just like the insect terminator that you are using. No, I'm telling you, it's just like the insect terminator. There's no how you are going to explain it that it's not going to be like that. We use traps, we use targets, we use screens. All these, they do not only kill the fly, they also kill all other insects. We did that some 5 years ago at Oyo Park, old Oyo Park, and we had a big problem that they reported us. And they made us to come and pack our screens and target within 24 hours, or else they would give us a problem. I had to tell my people, yeah, let's go. Sorry. Let's go there and go and pack our targets. Even though you could see that the targets were not actually eliminating all insects, but it was eliminating substantial number of insects. Among them are the good insects. So what then? How did this sterile insect technology came about? The idea of it is you pick the male flies. from the wild. You bring them into a breeding room, and then you breed them. After you have breed them, then they will pass through a module under a room. For milliseconds, they will be radiated using a gamma type of radiation. Every detail of it is not supposed to be given here, but if you want to know, you will see it, because bit by bit, every of the process will be done. Now, once this has been irradiated within that few seconds, they will now be collected and taken to the wild. Nowadays, we can use drones. That is one of the reasons why we are going to collaborate with the National Space and Research Development Agency. So with this, the male sex supply, that is the irradiated one, we only mate with the female sex supply that can only mate once in their lifetime. And what the progeny, the filial generation 1 that they are going to produce will be sterile. And it being sterile, there will be no propagation more of sex supply. And if you eliminate the sex supply, you eliminate the disease, trypanosomiasis. Since this is the same principle, it can be used. We want to use it also for the black fly, the one that causes, that transmit the disease of onchocerciasis, not sleeping sickness, river blindness this time. All right? So that same principle can be cascaded and used for elimination of mosquito. To this end, in fact, this Saturday, by the grace of God, we will be in Tanzania for a 1-week training concerning this aspect, which is being sponsored eminently by the International Atomic Energy Agency. So we can always work it together. Thank you very much. That's more or less like the presentation of my own memo. Do you agree that it should be upgraded?
Thank you very much, DG Naita. Please let's applaud him one more time, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, with the permission of the Permanent Secretary, I'll be inviting the DG Nibri for his own brief. You're welcome, sir.
The Permanent Secretary, other members attend this wonderful conference or workshop, distinguished guests, good afternoon. Mine is not a memo, but rather let me make a little contribution on how to reduce the cost of construction materials that has to do with building. NIBRI has prepared 5 beautiful memo, but it's unfortunate that memo did not scale through because of the fact that there was problem associated with internet. We send it, but the people receiving it did not receive the memo. So we are not captured in the presentation. All the same, we are given the opportunity to make a contribution with respect to cost of construction materials. Let's look at building. After food, the basic thing is building. It is the ambition of everybody to have a house called its own house. Everybody would love to have a beautiful house. Sometimes some tradition beautify the asset of the way you are assessed by the quality of house you have. Some will tell you that the type of house will tell you who you are in the society. People have been talking about how do we earn a house? How can civil servant earn a house? And so on and so forth. So we try to categorize why do cost of building continue to go up? Why is it that you and me cannot afford a building? We try to summarize this issue into 3 categories. To own a house or to own a building, the first cost is the cost of labor. The second cost is the cost of materials. The third is the equipment or machine that you can use to construct the building. So if we can reduce these 3 drastically, everybody should be given that opportunity to own a house. Someone will tell me that cost of land plays a role. It plays a vital role because the cost of land in my village and the cost of land in Abuja is different. But my contribution has to do with the cost of materials, forgetting about the fact that the land are at almost homogeneous level. They are almost on the same level. So why do we have high cost of construction materials? Now, let's look at it. Do we have an alternative material to that? That's the first question you ask ourselves. What are the construction materials we need? The first thing that comes to our mind is cement. Cement serves as a binder. Do we have an alternative to cement? Just as if you are cooking in the house, you might be saying that I need a seasoner like Maggi. If Maggi is not available, I go to Knorr. If there is no Knorr, I go to Reiko. All these can serve the same purpose. But do we have an alternative to cement? That's the question. A cement serves as a binder where aggregates are joined together to form a homogeneous material. You can join blocks, you can join concrete with sand and aggregate, both fine and coarse aggregate, you join them together using cement. But for now, the homogeneous, the binder that is acceptable and utilized is cement. But NIBRI came with a vital alternative binder called pozzolana. This pozzolana has been there. Pozzolana is not cement. It is from waste we were able to come up with that property called pozzolana. And the idea of the pozzolana is to replace cement. Not basically replacing cement 100%, but we replace cement in substitute. Where I expected to use 100 bags of cement, you might end up using 60 of the bag of cement and using 40 of the pozzolana. When you mix them, you get a cement product. So if where you are expected to use maybe 10,000 naira is a bag of cement, 10 times you need 50, maybe you need 100 bags of cement. 10 times 100 is the cost of cement, whereas you are end up using 60 bags, which is 10 times 60. So the cost of building material has reduced by use of that alternative material. One area that NIBRI comes up with is in the area of concrete blocks. The concrete blocks we have, basically, we use mortar to join them. You continue to use mortar to lay your blocks. But we are coming up with a technology where mortar is not feasible. The sand block is produced or fabricated with the form of using an interlock to jam them together. If you want to deconstruct them, you can remove them, not destroying them. I don't know if I'm communicating. The concrete blocks are joined together by a form of a hook. You interlock them. As you build it, you continue to interlock them and it continues to go up. The time that you don't need them, you deconstruct them. Deconstruction simply means remove them without destroying them. By so doing, if this technology is coming into play, the cost of mortar is reduced, the labor attached to mortar is reduced, the labor attached to laying of the blocks is reduced. In such area, we can do that. Another aspect which NIBRI come up is the use of ceiling board. Most of these ceiling board you see are imported. We came up with a technology that is very, very easy, using ceiling board material from palm tree and kinaf fiber. These kinaf fiber are naturally occurring materials, and these fibers are mostly imported, but NIBRI came up with a fiber that is locally available. You come up with the fiber, you fabricate your ceiling board, and the ceiling board can be used and it serves even better than this, even having a soundproof material in terms of parameter. NIBRI came up with alternatives in roofing material. Our various roofing materials are things like GI sheets, things like aluminum roofing sheets, things like long span aluminum. Thatch can be used, but maybe not for artistic, and so on and so forth. NIBRI came with use of plastics, use of mineral tiles, and other materials that can be used as a roofing material. One area that NIBRI came up, that mineral tiles, is the issue of self-weight. The self-weight was a bit heavy, and we are trying to reduce the self-weight so that the load is reduced drastically when that is adopted. We came up with the issue of machines. Machines make things easy. We came up with a plastering machine. We fabricated these machines. We mixed this mortar. Instead of taking maybe 3-4 days to do a job, that machines can take 2 hours to finish the plastering. NIBRI came up with the idea of using machines to plaster. So buildings can be made affordable for you and me. Basically, it's the issue of taste. People want taste to be a factor. People want to have the beautiful house. People want to have a house that people will talk about it. But basically, what is the essence of having a beautiful house that you cannot afford? Why not make this house affordable for everybody to have? NIBRI has these compressed earth blocks, which can be used using small quantity of cement. Instead of using cement that carries much, material that carries much cement, we use 5% of laterite. Using our own machines, we can produce blocks. And these blocks has a way of modifying the environment it is. When the environment is hot, as you go in, it is cooler. When the environment is cool, as you go in, it is warmer. It regulates the temperature on its own. But you can look at the building, it looks local, but it can serve the purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, buildings can be afforded. You can get a building on your own. Forget about tests. Forget about class. Ensure that you get a building over your head. And that is by use of construction material that is locally based. Let me use this opportunity to appreciate Mr. President. Just last 2 weeks, Mr. President came up with a policy that says you cannot go for a foreign material except if its own counterpart of local material is not available. So I want to call on the federal government to tell them that NIBRI has designed, has innovated quite a lot of local material which can fit in to the locally available buildings that we have in Nigeria. If NIBRI is given that opportunity, I want to assure you that everybody in this house will own a house, and that is our own target. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, yesterday the permanent secretary requested that states make a presentation, like an update on their activities, but no state came up to make any presentation. So I was surprised to see it on the commissioner's platform that the permanent secretaries informed them that they have a presentation to make tomorrow. So I don't know what you told your honorable commissioners. We don't have presentations tomorrow. Tomorrow is for the council proper, for the summit rather. So only Edo State presented. Edo State gave his own update. That I mean, is it that, no Edo? It was Edo State. Delta presented a memo. Yeah, Delta presented a memo. It was only Edo State that gave an update. That was what we expected all the state permanent secretaries to do yesterday, because it's a way of showcasing the activities in your state. So please, next time, the permanent secretaries will come ready for, update when they are coming to council. But tell your state commissioners that there is nothing like presentation tomorrow for them. Thank you very much.
Okay, with the permission of the permanent secretary, we want to open up for questions for the DG NIBRI. Questions, reactions, and comments. Please, you indicate by a lift of hand, and the ushers will come with the microphone. We have 1, we have 2, we have 3, 4, 5. Do we have more hands? Okay, let's take those 5, and please, let's make it brief. There's one here. Okay, let's, from there, all right. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to align myself with the well-established protocol. First and foremost, I want to appreciate the DG of NIBRI for that executive summary of the papers, the memoranda they were not able to actually present. Sir, on a lighter mood, I've attended Science and Tech Expo severally, and I used to see NIBRI coming up with a building within the shortest possible time, and at the end of the expo, the building will be dismantled. So I just want to ask, as a civil servant, that I want to hand a building. Sir, for a 2-bedroom flat with the technologies you have already developed, how much in naira, not in dollars, sir, do you think it can cost me? to put up that building within the next 2 weeks if I already got a piece of land for such building. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, let's take as many questions as possible, then you react to them also.
Okay. Hello.
Okay, my name is Mr. Eze Dennis. We appreciate you, our erudite professor. Thank you so much. Now the question is, these local materials you are talking about, how can we access them? Can we see it in the market? And how cheap are they so that we can use it? When the roof is over our head, forget the fancy. What we need is building to have where we sleep and accommodate our families.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Number 3.
Good afternoon, permanent secretaries, present, all protocols duly observed. My name is Stella Emmanuel from Shared Science and Technology Complex, Director Research. Sir, my question to you is this. Okay, he asked one about the cost of raising a 2-bedroom flat, but I was thinking of 3-bedroom flat. What will it cost for me to have a 3-bedroom apartment using the materials you have on ground? Secondly, is there any plan in place to train local artisans to learn this technology, to know how to use and to produce the materials? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Permanent Secretary. DG Nibri, thank you so much for your presentation. Each time you talk, in fact, I get carried away and so on, because you make this, always make it so simple, as if I should go and carry the thing you are talking about. Now, coming to what you have said, beautiful things and so on. But my own concern is the fact that I want to know whether, because you know one thing about life is seeing is believing. Somebody said now that probably when you come for expo, whatever, the buildings are made and they are pulled down again. Is there a place that we need to go to see all these things very well? That's number one. And then secondly, all the things you have mentioned now, mass production of these items, have you started embarking on them? Because one of the things, because I'm seeing now, from what we all know, and from what the first person said, to build a house now by a civil servant is looking like a mirage. It's a thing that is not affordable. This is where Nibrin has to come in. I want to know, because you need to do more than what you are doing, sir. You need to do more for civil servants. Nobody is looking for maybe high-rise building, but just a place, maybe something small, whereby somebody could retire into and be happy, and so on. These are issues that we need to tackle from your own end, sir. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Dr. Onduka, Private Sector and Academia. Well done, DG, sir. You mentioned there are 3 things that are critical for, you said it was cost of labor, 1, cost of materials, 2, and cost of equipment, 3. When it comes to the cost of labor, that is a derivative, because the cost of labor is also embedded in the cost of materials. The cost of labor is also embedded in the cost of equipment, because those equipments are made with labor. At what point in your program or in your projects or in your production do you utilize technology, which is why we're here, to reduce that cost of labor? And then one of the gentlemen on the other side mentioned something about STI Expo and how you bring up structures at the Expo and you take them down immediately. We know for sure that those structures you bring at the Expo are built on concrete. A lot of the projects we do are built on soil or soft sand. And we know in Nigeria today, I don't know if you people have noticed, the weather has been very, very bad in the past few months. The rain and the storms have been very heavy, destroying roofs and destroying people's houses across Abuja and Nigeria. has any of your materials or your structures been rigorously tested to ensure that if an adverse weather comes into any region where your materials are used, they will sustain that building in an adverse if an adverse weather comes into focus? Thank you very much.
I think the question I wanted to ask this man that just spoke said my mind, but I want to ask whether all this material, locally produced material, can stand the integrity test you've been talking about.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we can pause there and then let the DG Nibri react. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think somebody want to...
Okay, ma, you can speak. Okay, we have two hands there. I think that should be all. Okay, ma, when you're done.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir, for your eloquent talk. At least some of us here have had this privilege to listen to you, all the things you have said about building, the cost of building, and earlier on you talked about the integrity test.
Okay, integrity.
You know, that is very, very important. We would like to know more about that, maybe the details about the integrity test. I know during the tea break time, I had that opportunity to listen to you on that. But I want this, your beautiful package, to go beyond the council, beyond here, so that Nigerians will listen to you. I don't know if you have awareness plan in your agenda. If you don't have, you need to have. You need to be on the radio, TV, everywhere. You need to go to the states to create that awareness for people to know, so that we don't keep making the same mistakes. You know, buildings being, you know, raised down, brought down, collapsing. Thank you, and let me not talk too much.
Good afternoon, Permanent Secretary. My name is Dr. Oluwatoyin Oluwole from the Federal Institute of Industrial Research, Oshodi. I am just interested in the average lifespan of this proposed low-cost building you are talking about. Thank you.
Okay, DG, you may now react, sir.
Thank you very much. Let me start by expressing how happy I am because of the interest developed by people. Normally when a teacher teaches and there are quite a lot of hands up, it tells you that one, your lecture is well understood, and that's why the questions are coming, or people have a lot of interest to know more. Thank you very much. Let me be brief as much as possible. From the doctor from FIRO, you are trying to know the lifespan of this material. You know, every material lifespan goes with the material it is made of. Steel has higher lifespan. Concrete has a lifespan of not less than 25 years. A bridge has a lifespan of 100 years. Every structure, depending on the materials, have a lifespan. For instance now, if your building is made up of concrete, your lifespan of 25, that does not mean that after 25 years the structure will fail to serve the purpose. But it's trying to tell you that within that same year, no meaningful maintenance will come up, and it will continue to serve its purpose even after that year. Minimally, that is what it's supposed to. The material we are talking about here is, for instance, if you are talking about the walling material, we are talking about laterite produced from compressed earth blocks. This laterite is existing in natural form. It is laterite, there is no product added to it. It is not burned, it is not smashed. You take the laterite naturally the way it is. But you mix the laterite with a binder. What I mean by binder, I'm talking about a product like cement, a product like pozzolana, a product that can modify that of cement. You mix them together. Then there is a special machine that is used. We initially in Nibri, we started by importing these machines from South Africa, but we stopped that. We went on to build our own technology by fabricating our own machine. As of today,
NIBRI fabricated its own machine, and we can produce this material 100% local content. That has been what we are. So with this laterite material, with this our roofing material, you can have not less than 25 years of existing. For the fact that I mentioned 25, that does not mean that after 25 years the building will collapse. But I'm trying to tell you that minimally the building must have attained the age of 25 before any meaningful maintenance work can take place there. The next question is the issue of integrity test. Integrity test is like a preemptive test, a test that you can do before to check if the structural lifespan is still in stage. Normally a building is like a human being. A building has a leg, it has a foot, it has a hand, and it has a cap, a head. The legs are called footing, and it is where the foundation of the building is. And after that footing, you have the columns standing. After the columns, you have the beams, which are the horizontal members. Then you talk about the slab where the human activities takes place, then the roofing. These are what we call structural elements of a building. They are designed with basically concrete and steel. And this design must meet up the standard specification. For a building to be standing, the standard specification must work towards its lifespan. There are some machines that you can do to test the quality of the material used. And this, the quality of material goes with the grade of the concrete. We have grade 20, grade 25, grade 35, depending on the structural element. A foundation will tell you that the foundation should be within grade 30 or grade 35. The column is grade 30 or 35. The slab is grade 20 or 25. We have a machine that you can test it to give you the value. You know the type of foundation. You know the stress or the distress of the building. It gives you if a building is healthy or not. So what we normally do is that, as of today, NIBRI team are in Jos assessing the integrity of some buildings in Jos. If the building shows the sign of distress, we can recommend that the building should be pulled down. But if the building needs amendment, we can recommend that more amendments should be carried out on the building. And that is why we agitate for integrity tests to know if this building can have a test of time or not. So if buildings are in doubt with respect to the quality, we recommend that integrity tests should be conducted on this building so that some recommendation can come from it or not. So integrity tests, we continue to recommend that people should go for it because it will help us to save against this total building collapse we are talking about. A building does not collapse overnight. It must show a sign of distress before the collapse will take place. Though some building can collapse due to what we call ultimate failure. In design, we have what we call ultimate and serviceability. Ultimate deals with total collapse, break at the same time. While the serviceability limit talks about deflection, cracking before the collapse will take place. Maybe with time, madam, if you are in need of your house to sleep with your two eyes, invite NIBRI to come and test if this building is okay for you to continue to use, or you need a healthy certificate that will tell you that you are safe. So contact NIBRI, they will come and check that building for you. The next is issue of local material, if it is tested or not. Normally for a material to be accepted, it must be tested. I'm not bragging, but NIBRI has one of the best laboratories in the country that has to do with testing of construction materials. If you are testing any local material, it must pass through the normal testing procedure. You test for impact, you test for compressive strength, you test for tensile strength, test for different parameters of the construction materials before you can come out and tell us that this material meets up the standard specification before you say this material can be used. So the testing must be part of the requirement that need to be carried out for you to do that. Somebody asked a question with respect to the foundation of the structure, that normally wind can come in, rain can affect the foundation. What happens to our own buildings that we normally do during Expo? People that were privileged to have visited our stand during Expo, sometimes we go for one-story building at the Expo, but The foundation is made up of steel. The entire foundation is fabricated with steel so that we can build on top. And the build has an area that does not piece down to show that it destroys the asphalt that is there. So we have steel all around, then we build on top of the steel. And after that, the building will continue to stand without a problem. So the design is carried out very well before we come up with the thickness, we come up with the area where the loadings will take place. So weather will never have effect on it because it has been designed, and once it is designed, it is tested and it met up the standard specification. The next is the cost of labor. The cost of labor, did we capture it into consideration? Yes. Labor plays a role. Normally, if you want to lay one block, 1 9 inches block, they say they are laying it at the cost of 150 naira now, or 200 naira per block now. It used to be 30 naira, it used to be 20 naira. But now as you go up, the cost of laying blocks continue to increase. Are we not together? Because if you are going up, they say if it's one-story building, it's 150 naira per block or 200. It goes to 300, goes to 500, and so on and so forth as it goes up. So what NASRDA comes up is the area of not laying the blocks. Part of the memo I mentioned is the issue of taking the block up. You might pay for it, but laying the block without mortar is what we are emphasizing on. You interlock it, and it is very easy. When you want to move it elsewhere, you remove it and move it elsewhere, and it's still functioning. You can see if it is joined with mortar, you cannot remove it. You must destroy it. But this time around, you remove it quietly, and you can move it elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the technology NASRDA has come up with. The issue of comparing prices is very, very important. We carried out a study basically, one using normal concrete blocks, the other one using NASRDA compressed earth blocks. We decided to do a physical and practical approach. There is a school in Amak, Government Girls Secondary School in Amak Estate, along airport. Because this is not theory, this is practical approach. I said I don't want it to be, I made funds available. Go and construct 2-bedroom flat and let me have the cost of it, one after the other. Precisely this project was carried out in the year 2022, immediately after COVID. We did this construction, a 2-bedroom flat that has basic parameters. We ended up constructing it at the cost of 2.4 million naira. 2.4 million. That was in the year immediately after COVID. But I know this time, maybe it must have increased, but I've never carried out a study. But this is a basic 2-bedroom flat with a small parlor. The 2-bedroom flat has one convenience that serves the parlor, and one of the bedroom has in suite. It is self-contained. The other toilet, there are 2 toilets, one serving the visitor and the other bedroom. The other toilet is inbuilt. We have a kitchen and we have a small veranda. It is constructed at the cost of 2.4 million naira. We didn't do that of the 3rd bedroom, but if you can add the cost of 1 bedroom to it, at that time it could have been the cost of 3.2 or 3.3 million. But now it has increased for people that would like to know. But this one, it was done using our own technology. But the good thing about technology is that the higher the volume, the lower the cost. Because if you are going to do more, the cost will reduce. Basically, this is the idea behind it. The next is, do we have mass production of this? Our mandate as an agency, we are not mandated to produce this thing in mass. What we have is a prototype. The prototype is there. We can construct one for people to come and see. People that are in Plateau State, in Bokos, were able to go there, were able to construct a prototype of a building constructed with pozzolana in Plateau State. People that are in Ota, our headquarters of research is in Ota, opposite the Covenant University. We have 79 hectares of land belonging to NASRDA. We're able to construct infrastructure, one using the pozzolana that I'm talking about. The other one, we constructed a story building using bamboo as reinforcement. Instead of using steel, we decided to use bamboo. Not necessarily using 100% bamboo, but where you are expected to use steel, 70% is bamboo, while 30% is steel. And a story building is still standing in Nibri in Ota. I invite all of you, if you want to come and see. The bamboo is standing, the building is standing, and everybody to come and see where bamboo was used instead of steel to construct a story building, and it is there. The cost of 3-bedroom, I was able to answer. Assessing the local material, how available are they? This local material is not a mirage, it's not a rocket science. They are available. Normal laterite that you come across is what we use. And this laterite, you take it, you sieve it so that you have a particular sieve size, add it with quantity of cement, compress it using our own machine at a particular load, you get your blocks. It is not a rocket science. And there is a question that has to do with, were we able to train artisans? Yes. NIBRI's mandate involves training of artisans. We train artisans in the area of POP, in the area of block making, in the area of tiling, in the area of electrical artisans, and the area of concreting. We even have a book called Artisan Manual that we are producing different trades which we use to train our artisans. So basically, NIBRI is there to serve you better, to tell you that alternative construction material exists, to tell you that not building that has to be with beauty that is there. Look for a building that can serve your purpose, not beauty. Look for a building that is statically determined, a building that will not collapse, a building that has tests in terms of integrity, a building that tests in terms of quality of material, a building that you can boast and say, this is my own house. By so doing, NIBRI will help you to attain that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the Chief Marketer of NIBRI, Director General NIBRI. Please, let's put our hands together again for him. Thank you so much. Well, I've just been informed that we have a brief from Kaduna State. Please, let's make it as brief as we can. Please, Kaduna State, you're highly welcome as we prepare to go for lunch. Thank you.
Sample.
Okay, NIBRI is not done yet.
It's not a rocket science. This is the block from laterite. Any rocket science here? And use this to construct your house. During rainy season or during cold weather, you go in, it is warmer. During warm environment, enter is cooler. I want to assure you. People say it's bulletproof even.
Questions? For questions, one. Okay. Thank you very much. One of the questions that come to mind is if you're building this with a partner and then both of you have to disintegrate in the course of the partnership, the partner will have to decouple the parts that he partnered with you and go with the block. So we must look into that part of technology where you cannot live with it. Okay, do we have questions for our DG NITA? Questions for our DG NITA, please. We can take 3 to 4 questions at this point. Not NIBRI, this time around NITA. Trypanosomiasis. Okay, we have 1. Any other, we can take 2 or 3 and then take Kaduna and then go for lunch and come back for the last lap of today's activities. So please, ushers, let's him have the mic. Do we have anyone else? Okay, sir, you can go ahead.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, all protocol duly observed. My name is Engineer Minisho Damasan from Kano State Ministry of Science and Technology. While I want to really commend you on your effort to eradicate mosquito using the technology of centralizing and Tsetse Plies, it's a really commendable effort. But in case before that comes into play, or in case of some unforeseen failures, what is the institution doing in terms of maybe creating a sort of basin to eliminate the issue of trimorphosis, apart from the sterilization method? If any research is going on, or if you decide to embark on any. Thank you, sir.
Oh. Thank you very much. The question is very, very interesting. I was expecting that they would have asked that one the first time, but nobody asked. Now that you have asked, it's an eye-opener. We have just learned that prevention is better than cure. And when you talk about vaccine, that is, you are eminently talking about biologics. It's the same principle. But there's a problem about vaccine. And we are working very hard, assiduously on it. Take, for instance, one of the memo that we would have presented, just like the NIBRI DG spoke about, and we could not, because of one way or the other, our memo, whether it got hooked along the way, they said they did not receive it. One of our memo is to deal with the production of candidate vaccine. We have 2 DNA and 1 protein vaccine that we are cascading down to make sure, and we are working with, in collaboration with a university, the Neken University in Japan. We are working with them, and we are soliciting the council's permission to be able to carry out the trial. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to. But the question of production of vaccine had been very, very difficult because of the peculiarity of the disease. I am talking of trypanosoma. It has a way of evading every aspect of treatment. Maybe if you want to understand it, please, you know there was this time of COVID-19. To produce the vaccine was very, very difficult. But because it was dealing with the whole world, you find out that they made money available, Bills and Melinda Gates and so on and so forth. They made money available, and when money was available, they were able to go through mRNA vaccine that was used. You know about Johnson & Johnson and so on and so forth. So we do have 2 candidate DNA vaccine and a protein vaccine. But because of the antigenic variation that the trypanosome always undergo, it has been a little bit difficult. But we are working assiduously to overcome that. That is, prevention is better than cure. In addition to this method that we want to. So the vaccine aspect, we are dealing with the trypanosome that causes the disease in itself. And then the sterilization, we are dealing with the vector. So by combining the 2 together, you find out that by the grace of God, we'll be able to overcome. Thank you very much.
Kaduna State, please. Briefly, sir.
The Permanent Secretary and other dignitaries here present, let me stand on the existing protocol. Kaduna State unfortunately could not come yesterday because we were so engulfed in some level of preparation to host Mr. President. And so I thought that these briefs will be given by the Honorable Commissioner tomorrow. But then since it is clarified that that has to be done today, I thought that it is wise we tell Council, even if it is just some few programs and projects that we are actually embarking upon. One of such projects is the establishment of a vocational and technology skills acquisition centers. Kaduna State government is building 3 world-class vocational and skills acquisition centers, and each is located in one of the 3 senatorial districts of the state. This is because the state is committed to building a technically competent and vocationally skilled population, contributing efficiently to the, and optimally to the employment and productivity of the state. This is in response of the fast-changing needs of the 21st century and to effectively contribute to the economic development of the state. These centers are carefully selected, the trades are carefully selected to meet the 21st century demand of the industry. Trades such as automotive, mechatronics, ICT of course, renewable energy, and etc. are going to be done there. And then we are happy to inform us that the plan is to ensure that at least 12,000 youths are trained both in short and long term per annum. The second project I want to address Council is the remodeling of the Panteka market in Kaduna State. I'm sure Panteka is a household name in Nigeria. It is an old artisan village in Kaduna that is situated adjacent to the Kaduna Polytechnic. And it was carefully, chosen because of the service it renders and what it does to Kaduna State, to Kaduna Polytechnic. Of course, it provides a hope for students' internship and other sideways activities. The Kaduna State government is remodeling the park, the market, to ensure that we promote and enhance innovation amongst them and technological development in the country at large. The old Panteka boasts of over 38,000 artisans, working and having their livelihood there. So part of the project intervention that the state is doing is that we are giving access routes to actually ensure that goods and services are being carried out most efficiently and movements are more convenient, a well-equipped security post to handle any security challenge, an ICT center in addition to the provision of other common facility centers, to equip the artisans and with the opportunity to acquire modern skills in innovative solutions and to facilitate the standardization of their operations to actually be able to compete favorably at global stage. The next project is the development of technology ecosystem in Kaduna State. I want to apprise Council that Kaduna State government, in its quest to develop technology ecosystem in the state, is establishing technology hubs. In the last presentation we had here in 2023, we were able to mention some hubs that have been, created by the Kaduna State government. I am happy to inform Council once again that 3 other hubs have been developed. One is the Kaduna Technology City, a smart city project, which is a hub for technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship development. The second one is the Kada Hive, a leading innovation hub and startup incubator with a global mindset, which is driving innovation and filling the gap between technology and industries in human-centric way. It is aimed at fostering vibrant technology ecosystem with innovation, with innovation in view, creating co-working spaces and opportunities for startup and positioning Kaduna State as a digital hub. The Kaduna Smart City project is the third one, an upcoming project geared towards enhancing security, efficiency, and transparency in public service, competitiveness, city management, and attracting talent and investment. The ultimate goal is to establish a safer and a smarter Kaduna State. Council may wish to be aware that in preparation for all this, creating all this friendly ecosystem in the state, Kaduna State now works four days in a week, and the fifth day, we work from homes. We work remotely using e-governance, and that is what we are in Kaduna State, and that is what we felt we should apprise members of council. I want to thank you, the Permanent Secretary, and every other person that is here, and hope that we'll find ways of interfacing with Kaduna State, coming to partner with Kaduna State in the development of these projects that I've mentioned. Thank you so much.
Let's put our hands together for Kaduna State for that brief. Okay, we have come to the end of all the memoranda and the briefs for this session. According to the program, we were to sit back for the preparation of the reports before going for lunch. but the permanent secretary in her magnanimity has said that we go for lunch and then come back on one condition, that everyone will come back, so we together prepare the reports that will be submitted tomorrow. So please, before we go for lunch, Okay, I have a little adjustment to the announcement I made. After lunch, we will come back and then go for a tour of the exhibition stands, and then other formalities will be handled by the PEMSEC when we come preparing for tomorrow. So I have a brief on my own side. We had an incident when we went out for the tea break. About 2 laptops were stolen. Apparently, some persons have impersonated to be part of this team or to be part of delegates for this very important national assignment. So please, that's why we keep emphasizing only the permanent secretary, directors general, and the permanent secretaries from the states will be allowed up there. So we were strict about it, but I think this time around we'll be stricter. Please, we have men, armed men now upstairs. If you are not a permanent secretary, a director general, please do not find yourself up there. Otherwise, you would be one of the major suspects. 2 to 3 laptops were stolen in just 10 seconds. So please, as you are leaving this hall, go with your bag, go with your laptops, go with your phones. Not everyone you see here is a delegate. They might be carrying the tags, because the principal suspect was looking like a very powerful delegate from a very good state. So please, go with all your belongings as we go upstairs. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your cooperation. We'll be leaving for lunch now. The categories I've mentioned will go upstairs. The rest of us will remain here. So please, let's not allow affliction arise the second time. Thank you very much. We'll be back in 30 minutes. Thank you so much. So carry all you came in here with: your laptop, conference bags, your phones, your bags, your shoes, your everything, please, everything.